Today I'm talking to Ewan Jones, CEO and co-founder of Safejawz, the mouthguard specialists. How are you, Ewan?
Yeah, good, thanks. I'm well, Mark. And yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. The sun's out, so that's always good.
Always helps.
So tell me a little bit about the business.
Sure. Yeah, Safejawz Mouthguards. We're now into our 12th year. Hit 11 years this year. We were under the radar for a little while of that for a while. So obviously the focus with Safejawz is designed, fun, kind of engaging sports mouthguards that also offer some enhanced protection and enhanced comfort compared to what else on the market. And really kind of, I suppose, had a slow organic growth for many of those years, but we've really had kind of our coming out party, so to speak, in this last couple of years since COVID. And yeah, but no, business is good.
I mean, you started off, I believe, at university.
That's right. So George, my co-founder, and we met at university, and we both have always been involved in sports. So I was a rugby player, various levels through my youth, until various injuries kind of took me out of that. George has always been involved in boxing, Thai boxing, and other martial arts. And we realized at university, not only did we, realize we had an entrepreneurial passion and an interest to kind of carve our own future and do something for ourselves, but we knew we wanted to do it in sports. And when we kind of looked at the landscape, and we did a few little ventures where we had an online sports shop and we did pop-ups at rugby events, we just quite quickly realized that sports mouthguards was something that had been stagnant for a long time. It hadn't been innovated on. There were a couple of main players who'd been around for 20, 30 years and really hadn't brought much new out in the market. And it was very clinical, it was very technical. And we thought there was a space. This was around the time when, people getting their initials on their boots and things like that. And we thought there was a real need and a room to kind of add that excitement and that engagement into the mouthguard category. Because if we could do that, we could increase wearing rates, so we could increase sports safety, but also we could carve out a nice new bit to the market. So that's when we launched Safejawz, with the idea being, the designs on the front, but also a bit more of a new approach to branding and marketing, where we're actually trying to get people excited about wearing sports mouthguards. Not like, oh, you have to because it's a dental product and your mum tells you to. And that's been the mission we've been on ever since, for the last 11 years.
I mean, I think if I saw correctly, you've designed the most expensive mouthguard in the world.
Yeah, yeah. So this is, I guess, it's a good example of some of the kind of outside the box kind of thinking, our approach to branding and marketing that perhaps differs to others in the industry. So we've been the kind of a mouthguard of choice for many kind of celebrities and athletes for many a year. And one of those individuals was KSI. So KSI was a customer of ours for a while, and we'd been doing some supplying him as well, free mouthguards for a little bit. He was coming up to a big fight with Tommy Fury, and we just pitched the idea to them that, how about, we've got this idea that we'd love to do the world's most expensive mouthguard. And to do that, basically, we'd found someone in the US who'd claimed to do a mouthguard that was around $50,000. So we had to beat $50,000, or a bit under $50,000. We had to beat that to be able to claim that most expensive mouthguard. And we ran it past them. We ideated on how we could achieve that. And we got sign off to do that in partnership together, and it was a crazy project. George spent the time kind of pounding the streets of the jewelry quarter in Birmingham, buying diamonds and figuring out the right diamond cuts that would be able to incorporate into a mouthguard to make it functional and not cause lacerations in the mouth. It was a real kind of fun project to be involved in, but a passion project. But we ended up creating this mouthguard. It was had a value of around £40,000, over $50,000 at the time. It had 108 diamonds in it. It was gilded with gold leaf. It was a really special piece, and it was presented in a bespoke wooden box with a watch winder mechanism inside and LEDs to light it up. It was a really special piece. And KSI loved it. He ended up wearing it out to the ring on that fight alongside a matching Lamborghini. It got picked up by every kind of press outlet out there, and gave us our day of fame in the spotlight. But it was, an example of a bit of like I say, a bit of outside the box thinking, and how you can get a lot of attention for a brand and build a bit of buzz about a category that, let's be honest, like sports mouthguards, it's about, before we came along, it's about as kind of dull and commoditized as any of the sports markets out there.
And I think that's one of the things, as you alluded to earlier, that people, don't really like wearing mouth guards, or ways to get people to wear mouth guards. Now, you've recently done a deal with Marvel, and you have Marvel characters inspired mouth guards.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the superhero link to us was so clear and obvious. There's that kind of, if you imagine when a rugby player or a boxer, as they're getting ready, they might put their kind of their gloves on or their shorts on, or they do their routine, they might listen to music beforehand, or whatever athletes are doing to get out on the pitch. But always in these sports, kind of the last thing that happens when you're just about to go out onto the pitch, go out into the ring, go into the cage, that last thing is popping in your mouth guard. And it's kind of, we've always thought about how this, like the symbolism of that, and linking it to how, for example, when Spider-Man is all ready to go and he pulls down his mask, or same with Iron Man, press his button and the mask comes down, or whatever it might be. It's that symbolic statement of, right, I'm no longer Paul the accountant, I'm stepping out to do my sport and to kind of go and I think that's really representative, like I say, with that superhero energy. So we thought, and also with just the branding and our market, and Marvel being essentially the biggest brand asset in the world, we thought it'd be a great collab. It was and it was a hard process. So we pitched to them years ago, and it was, we got thanks but no thanks back, basically, and then they got back in touch with us, a year or so later, and just said, listen, we actually think this is a perfect link. We keep thinking about the idea. And they said, let's do it. Let's go ahead. So, it was a fair bit of financial and legal due diligence. Obviously, as you can imagine, with Disney, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. But we've ended up with a range that we're really, really proud of. So it's you've got a global license which covers sports mouth guards for all the main Marvel characters, and we launched them in Q2. And so far, the uptake's been fantastic. The response has been amazing, and it's opening doors to new avenues that were harder to open before. Just that name value of Marvel. So it's and again, it's just another example like the KSI thing of just a different way of approaching that marketing. It would have been easy to have gone and got a governing body for a sport to give us a license or something, but it was a way of kind of, again, focusing the attention on desirability rather than focusing it on credibility, and that stuff kind of follows, like they link together a lot more nowadays than they used to.
Mm-hmm. And so how is the business doing now?
Yeah, great. So we've just come out of a really, like I said, a bit of a coming out party, as it were, last year, 2024, it seems. Our growth has been, since COVID, has been nothing short of kind of incredible, really, and beyond our expectations to a degree. Last year we were noted as the 16th fastest growing founder-led company in the UK. We also received a King's Award for Enterprise for international trade due to our international trade growth last year. So we've had a lot of recognition for the growth that we've had. George and I being accepted onto the Ernst Young Entrepreneur of the Year program, and all these other great things that are kind of coming our way, recognizing the growth that we've had as a business, and that the market share we've been taking has just been exceptional, and the penetration we're getting into new markets. So we're really pleased with the point we're at. For a long time we were trying to catch up to some of the main players in sports mouthguards, and it's only been the last year or two where really actually we're there battling side by side, and it's a nice position to be in, where we're able to kind of compete at that level and really show the value in our products, the value in our brand. So yeah, things are going great. We've got a lot of plans to carry on this growth going forward, and it's a really exciting time to be in the business.
As you just alluded to there, your plans to grow the business. How do you intend to grow the business globally?
Yes. Yeah, so there's we need to keep that growth is it's kind of addictive, and it's also warranted for what we believe we justify in the business. So we need to keep that growth going, and there's some organic things that are going to keep that growth going. The more people try Safejawz, the more people realize it really is a superior product, and the more people that see our marketing, etc., and will give us a go. But there are a couple of key things. One is kind of new products, and adding, keeping to innovate in our products, whether it's just new designs of products we have, or slight differentiations, or like accompanying lines. And then really global growth is important to us. We've been a global company since the start, but getting for deeper penetration in some of the other global markets is really gonna be key to our growth this year. So we're investing heavily into growth in some of these new markets, and we're seeing some early success into some other large international markets. And like I alluded to before, before it was a case of, right, let's get challenging the big guys. That was our mission for a while, and then we reset the goalpost for our team last year, and it was right. We've done that. We're in the mix, and we've absolutely asserted ourselves in the last decade as a credible, strong mouthguard brand. The new goalpost and the new kind of line in the sand is being the best mouthguard in the world, and we know we have the best mouthguard in the world. It's a case of getting the numbers and the market to kind of catch up with what we know anyway. So that's really our mission as a company now, is that next level of making sure that everyone in the world has the chance to try Safejawz and answer for themselves whether they think we are whether we think we're right in that positioning as the best in the world.
And where do you see the business in, say, 5 years?
5 years, such a long time. Such a long time. I believe, I'm a big believer that we, as people, as business leaders, we have a big tendency to overestimate what you can do in a year and underestimate what you can do in 5. Mm-hmm. And I think that's always important to recognize. I think it's hard to even begin to imagine what 5 years will bring, but I do believe that on that 5 years time frame, we can absolutely be market leaders in sports mouthguards. Definitely, in the UK and Europe, we're well on our way to that. But I do think that the US and the global market, I think, also is there for us. We've got certain investment to do. We've got to keep innovating and not get complacent. But we've got a lot of plans in the making and in the works, and I don't. I struggle to see a way that we can't get to that position. So 5 years, that's the goal, to be the #1 mouthguard brand in the world.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to me, Ewan, and that's great, and wish you all the best.